Need this. Fix that. Just a bit. Anyway. Always watching. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think I can.
Okay. Then I'm good.
Shocking, Jeff is not showing up. Adjust this.
Hey, you were the one like 15 minutes late last week.
I
Cut him a
know.
little slack. I'm not
Oh,
gonna cut this fucking guy in the parking lot any slack.
why are you in a parking lot?
Because my kid's got some training that I'm gonna be sitting in a parking lot waiting for him to get done while doing this podcast.
Oh,
Because he don't have his fucking license yet.
yeah. So anyway, let's get rolling. We'll see if Jeff shows up. Um, anyway, Jeff and his problems. So let's talk about the conference championship games. Let's start on Friday night with Oregon and Washington. What do you think? I really thought Oregon. It was hilarious that they were a 10-point favorite. I mean, seriously,
Right. Everybody was on
that
that
didn't make sense,
Oregon
right?
hype bandwagon, though. Everyone was in that. Oregon,
Yeah.
Oregon, Oregon.
Why? Why though? They got beat the first time around by 3. I don't know. Doesn't
It was
make
a good
sense.
game. I watched that. It's probably the game I watched most of any of the championship games. Was that one Friday night?
Second half was really good. You had Oregon take the lead there in the third quarter. Then Washington came back, and that's the thing with Oregon. I know you guys are going to say I'm not a big Bo Nix fan. No, I'm never going to back him. But I thought Oregon's defense would play better. I was expecting more. Coach Underbite, Dan Lanning, not getting it done. He looks like a
Well,
bulldog or some
that's what we were
shit.
being told. That's what we were being told for forever, right? Oh, Oregon defense. They're
Yeah,
the only ones. Them in Utah, the only people out there that play D, and their O is great
right.
too. And I mean, did Nix lose the Heisman in that game?
Probably, I would say. Doesn't help that he's on the West Coast, and he lost. But it's like I I was not impressed. I thought Oregon was the better defensive team. Suddenly, Washington decided they could play defense, and with Michael Penix and those receivers, and they even brought a running game. Uh, they looked almost unbeatable, honestly.
They looked
I would love.
solid. I don't think the difference to me was then I watched that Georgia Bama game, and
Yeah,
I feel like the play is different, especially along the line of scrimmage in a Georgia Bama game compared to Washington Oregon.
I mean, in level of aggressiveness or what?
Just the dudes look bigger, better.
Okay.
bigger, stronger, faster, aggressive, all of it. It just looks like, I don't know. It just jumped off the screen at me. I think Washington will be in trouble.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
who they
will
play now, even
say
against the Texas. I think a Texas is in that same type of team. We'll see.
Georgia has zero pass rush, though. You got to admit that. Uh, even though we'll get to Georgia and Bama here in a sec, but since we started off with the Oregon and Washington
Well,
game,
well
I
did Penix win the Heisman in that
yeah,
game?
that seems to be one of those Heisman moments you need, right?
I don't
Let
know.
me
It was funny because I think the running back should have got MVP of that. They like wanted to give it to Penix just because
right.
he's the Heisman guy, but
Yes,
that running
yes,
back was the dog. He was a beast, and
exactly.
he won that game for them.
Exactly. Right now, the odds are Jaden Daniels, a huge favorite, even though he didn't play this week, which is hilarious to me. Jaden Daniels minus 1,100. So 11 to 1. Then Michael Penix coming up next at 7 to 1. It's not even close. Bo Nix 14 to 1. That's it. That's the
I
list.
don't have the stats and I didn't watch them, but it was brought up on some other show I was listening to about Jaden Daniels because I haven't watched LSU play, but I looked at the numbers. His numbers are gaudy, right? But
Mm,
I also heard that in some like shit games, and I don't know the teams, but terrible teams, Coastal Carolinas and stuff, they're still out there like 50 to nothing and letting Jaden Daniels whip the ball around to pad those stats big time. So
mm,
to me, you got to take a little bit of that and say, well, hold on here. What did you do in the big games? That's how you win a Heisman.
right.
You lost all the big games, Jaden Daniels.
Did you put your team on your back? Right. And no, they did not. I mean, they got beat week one against Florida State, which is kind of it was in Orlando, so it's a relatively not so neutral environment. But yeah. That Dylan Johnson, the running back, I was impressed with him coming with a buck 50, 2 touchdowns. Penix, I know, had the 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but the receivers put up some serious numbers, like over 300 yards receiving. That's legit. Just, I was shocked. I thought Oregon would bring a better defense, and they had nothing. Washington actually played much better defense, especially in the secondary, than I expected. But what else? Let's save Georgia Bama for a minute. I want to talk Texas and Oklahoma State. What about Quinn Ewers just dicing up Oklahoma State?
Okay, so I heard the score was 14 to nothing. I
Mhm.
finally got to turn my TV on. It was 21-7. And I see um, Oklahoma State driving down. They throw a ball deep down the middle that gets picked off first and goal from Texas from the 7, from
Yeah,
their own 7. You go back and look at that from the other angle that they didn't show you. It's it's without a doubt a fucking drop. And I just don't know
yeah,
how in today's college football, we're in a championship game that type of play. And I know it got ugly from there, but what if that isn't a pick and Oklahoma goes down
yeah.
and scores and now you're in a 1 point game and just everything changes and they lost it right there on that play. And again, no one did anything. Texas ran back out there. I don't know if you saw the thing. I only saw it
Yeah, I
when the
did.
game was on. It was
Yeah,
fucking egregious.
it's one of those momentum swings, right? I mean,
It's
you don't know
huge.
you don't know what a pick or a change of possession can do to a team, right? I mean, that can
Well,
be
you,
a
you got a team.
rallying.
Well, that's just it. You're already down 21-7. You're trying to fight to get back in this thing. You're putting a drive together, and then they screw you on that, and just you were
But
deflated.
that's
You were
early
fighting
in the
back out of
game.
it,
That's
and
early in
then
the
they
game,
deflate
though.
you. Yeah, and then
You
they
know,
deflate you again, and
yeah.
it's so. I don't get it how big time football can make something that egregious. I mean, it's
I actually have something for you. I'm glad you brought that up. So I don't know if you listen to the College Football Nerds podcast or if you follow them on socials, but they actually addressed this. This was from a few days ago, so like 5 days ago. But this is a study that they've taken over time. This is not just a new thing. So their point was about refereeing in big games. So let me read it. There's a subtle but growing problem in college football with how games involving good teams are called by refs. Here are some notable ranked by opponent penalties. So these are the penalties that these teams' opponents were flagged for. Okay, not these teams, their opponents. Oregon 105, Michigan 110, Ohio State 115, Bama 120, Georgia 122, Texas 131. So the point is that they go on in their next tweet. This completely refutes the long-standing notion that Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia get all the calls, right? We hear that a lot, right?
yeah, of course.
What this means is a number of the best teams are rarely seeing opponents penalized. This is either subconscious or intentional, but either way, it's unfair. That's what they said. And by those numbers, I don't think you can argue with it, but they go on. There's a bunch of tweets here. I won't get into all of them, but they say that letting both teams play, not calling subjective penalties, notably holding, on the O line, pass interference, obviously by the secondary, gives a tremendous advantage to a lesser team. This is a massive talent or scheme neutralizer that makes potentially non-competitive games far more competitive. So your example right there, and I saw some in the Bama Georgia game that were blatant. We saw some in the Ohio State Michigan game, right?
Well, yeah, the guys sitting out of bounds and they call it a catch.
Right. So again, I've talked about this a million times, and I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it, but the refereeing has to be better governed in some way.
Well,
I don't know.
well,
I don't know if you need a full. You might need a full NFL style. Where they have a central place in whether it's Chicago in the Big Ten headquarters, whatever. But there has to be a better system to govern these refs.
100%, 100% needs to be a better system to govern them, and there needs to be more eyes on it. I mean, we all saw it so quick when they showed the one other angle. I feel like, I know they do it on scoring plays where they review everyone. I also think every freaking turnover or something like that, if it's even close, you guys make me, I don't know if it was the Ohio State game or another one that I had recorded and I was fast forwarding through. There was a point in a game where I fast forwarded through 6 minutes of not football. So, I mean, if you're going to take all this time to do all this other bullshit, you know what? I don't mind you taking an extra 10 seconds and getting the call right on the field.
Right. Yeah. If you're going to take the time, let's get it right. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see if we got Jeff in here. Jeff, are you in?
I'm in, sir. Yes.
All right.
Sorry, I'm late.
We started off with the Texas and Oklahoma State game here, just a recap, really, even though it was a blowout. But we were talking about, we kind of moved into obviously referee issues and there, like Shawn mentioned, there was what looked like an INT by Oklahoma State in the first quarter when it was still obviously is 21-7. I'm not saying that they were going to come back from that, but the point is that that's a momentum changer, right? And who's to say what your team can do with a turnover?
Did you see? Do you know what play we're talking about, Jeff?
No, I do not.
Go ahead and explain, Shawn.
I was not watching the game. No, I was working, so I did not. I was listening to the game on the radio. So do not know the play or the call in question.
Go ahead, Shawn.
Well, I was going off. It just pissed me off so bad. And obviously I don't have a dog in that hunt, but so yeah, Oklahoma State's down 21-7, and they're probably around midfield or whatever, going towards, to try and get some points up. The quarterback throws one down the middle of the field. Basically the guy's back is to him, how he catches it, and you can't, like, from the quarterback's eyes, you can't really see it, whatever. He gets up, runs off the field. It's a pick. Texas comes back out there, 1st and goal on the 7. They run a play. You look at it from the other angle. The kid didn't catch the ball, and it wasn't like close. Like, oh, you could argue it. He fucking didn't catch it. And
really,
in a championship game in this day and age, to get these calls wrong, and then, like Joe was saying, it ended up being a blowout, but at the time it was 21-7. What if Oklahoma State goes down and scores there, and now it's 21-14 within a score? But you've got these guys they're down early, probably bad. All right, let's fight our way out of this. They're trying to fight their way out of it. They take it down there, and then they get screwed on a call like that. I mean, and then it's such momentum, so hard to come back from. It just changes the whole thing of the game, and I don't understand how that is happening in today's big time college football.
So that led me to the College Football Nerds podcast. I don't know if you ever listen to them or check their stuff on social, but they talked about how opponent penalties for the best teams in the country are very high. Like, so.
How are you wording that, Joe?
Penalties by opponent. The better team is penalized more versus the under. So let's say the underdog is penalized less versus, the favorite. Oregon 105. This was, I think this was by this season. Oregon 105.
Some of that is what it is, though, because I even feel like when it's a blowout, like if Ohio State's playing Bowling Green or something like that, and the Bowling Green guy holds a little late, it's late in the game, it's their second string guy, and he's holding a little bit. Go ahead, give it,
Right. It's same as in baseball. If you're up 12 runs, the strike zone gets a little wider for the team up.
Right.
Same principle. Right.
So in this stream that they're talking about, the one point that really stood out to me, they didn't put a year on it, but they say a few years ago, Alabama played an entire season without a single opponent getting flagged for holding.
What?
No holding calls against their opponent.
Against a dumb opponent. Well, I wonder if it was the year they won a title.
Kind of seems like it might have been.
I mean,
they haven't had that good of D lines anyway. They haven't had too many dudes on D line.
Right.
I mean, I do see it. Yeah. So you're saying, Joe, it skews sometimes. Like if it's a Ohio State BG game and it skews towards the second half of blowouts. But a stat like that, whereas, I mean, you wonder why Nick Saban, they're pulling their fucking hair out on the sidelines. Like nobody holds us at all year round, like, the whole year. That's eye opening. I would have never thought that was a a possible step.
So it's a real thing that's going on in college football with the best teams, obviously. So it's something to keep an eye on. Like Shawn was saying with that INT. Let's skip right ahead to the Georgia Bama game where there were multiple missed calls, like real calls. Jeff, do you have one off the top of your head?
I don't. Like you talking about the catch by Burton or Bond? Yeah, it was Bond. That little that kind of like fade.
That was a fourth down.
Yeah,
he played
fourth down. Initially, and of course, for the situation that us Buckeye fans were hoping for, we needed Georgia to win. But I kind of typically learn or skew towards that being a catch in all circumstances, regardless of which team I'm maybe rooting for or not. Okay. If the ball wiggles, if the ball moves a little bit in the hand. Now, great. Now, by the way the rule is written, it's a lot closer to not being a catch, in my opinion. I think, though, I usually lean towards more of give the receiver the benefit for making a hell of an effort type. Yes, as far as that being a major turning point call, turning point call in a game like that, yes.
If you're going to call it on a fourth down, it better be fucking right.
Yeah, and you know what?
And it better be reviewed, I think.
and to Shawn's point, you're gonna pump 50 more fucking commercials during this game, right? You're gonna give us more commercials. Well, then cut it right to commercial there. We don't need to see. We don't need to hear the announcers blabble fucking back and forth.
Bullshit.
We don't need video of all the receivers, the quarterbacks, the both coaches on each side. We don't need all those video shots. Slam it right to commercial. Pump your, get your revenue up that way. Like you guys are they're trying to give us. We're going to speed the game up more, but we're just going to give you more commercials. You're getting the same amount of game. So review it. It's a perfect window, for the people that are organizing these TV shows. It's the perfect, window for them to, let's just go straight to commercial. We don't take the announcers out of it. We don't need all that blabbering back and forth. Just show us the replay once, commercial. When it comes back, give us the decision. And this is why they have the rules guy on, showing us this is why he called this way. Boom, back to play, get it going. You're right. But yes. I mean, in a game like that, a game like Bama, Georgia, which everything matters.
It turns out to be a 3-point game. I mean, but you could say the same for that Oklahoma State game early on. Momentum is a hell of a thing.
Yes, I am a firm believer in that as well, Joe. You're right. Oklahoma State was well outmatched, well outgunned.
Right.
But you can't.
Turnovers were their only way to maintain that game, stay in it.
Yeah, in Texas, Texas has been known to let teams hang around in games. Yeah. They've been doing that all season. They had a great game against Bama, but they've shown plenty of games where they'll jump out heavy, and then, we're gonna let you back in it now. We're gonna get up 3 scores, but we're gonna give you a chance. And Oklahoma State plays that way all year too. They come storming back on people. So, turnovers are big. Turnovers are the biggest thing.
No, that was just. I'd done that.
So let's talk Bama, Georgia. The Texas game was pretty much a blowout anyways.
I mean, it was. I mean, Oklahoma State wasn't going to be able to stop them, but at the same time, you're taking away – Texas was going to be able to give up points. If you let Oklahoma State stay on the field, they're going to be able to score because Texas is not going to be able to keep them out. So, and you're right. If that game gets within – 42-35 or whatever, in one play here or there, some pressure gets to somebody, and the whole game gets called different on defensively and offensively from both schools. So you're right. It all matters. People say, they won by 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. It didn't matter. It could have. This was back when it was only 2 touchdowns. So,
So Bama, Georgia. Do you want to skip back to Oregon, Washington? You got thoughts on that game on Friday?
I have a million thoughts on Oregon and Washington.
All right, so let's finish up Bama, Georgia. Then we'll skip back to Oregon and Washington. So Bama, Georgia, obviously a back and forth kind of thing, which you expect. I'm shocked that Bama won that game, honestly. I have little expectations for Jalen Milroe. It's just because of what he does. Like week to week, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get out of this guy. One play, he will run 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and try and throw the ball. then he'll try and back up behind it. It's like, what is going on here? This is not real football, right? But he gets the plays done. Like he makes plays. Georgia scored 14 in the fourth quarter just to get it within a field goal. So it's like, wow. The Bama D played well. Georgia D did not, in my opinion. They have zero pass rush. Like they do, and the double spy on Milroe. I mean, take something from me, guys. Jeff, Shawn, please, somebody take one of these points from me.
People say that Georgia, that they're just reloaded again on defense. No, you can't lose that much talent. Georgia cannot lose that much talent over the last couple of years. That much NFL talent.
When your D line starting in the NFL, you're going to lose stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Milroe does amaze me. He does amaze me. I'm not impressed with Alabama's running backs. I'm not impressed with the receivers. Really, it amazes me. But Milroe just makes plays with his feet. He's one of the best tailbacks in college football. He happens to have the ball in his hand every snap.
He's a Caleb Williams.
You can't put his playmaking ability with his
bigger
on any level. I don't know. I thought watching plenty of both of these teams all year, going into that game, even the first half of that game, I thought Georgia was still the better team. And Georgia played a better second half, which is mind-boggling to me. It's just fucking the master Saban. It's just one of those weird games where Georgia's probably shaking their heads like, we're better than them. How the hell did that just happen? It is hard to explain. I mean, I watched every play of it, but you said like a couple of those, like that big pass to Bonds, it just that's huge. It was like a 30-yard, 40-yard gain on fourth down to put him in the red zone almost. Just out of nowhere, just there's those one or two plays Bama executes that end up being back-breaking plays. I still don't think Bama's better than Georgia. I mean, they proved it in the game. We watched it, but wow, I don't know.
I'm sure we'll get into it, Joe, at the back end of this, but yeah, I think it's criminal that Georgia's not in there.
Oh, I don't feel bad. When an SEC team gets left out of the playoffs, you will never hear me feel bad.
Well, I be feeling bad and thinking and having a difference of opinion whether they got the top four in or not. Two different things.
I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. Georgia's not in either. I don't know if they got.
Did they get the right one in? Might be the better question, right?
and by choice, they had no choice of who the SEC had to take. The team that won the conference, they had to take. I mean, you have to start there. You can't leave.
I think you also have to bring up the point that they say the games matter. I think when you play the games matters more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
yes.
A Buckeye loss last week of the season matters a lot. Then you got a Georgia loss this week, obviously matters. It's like recency bias almost.
If say we played Michigan, if we switched to Indiana and Michigan, this year for 1 year, it was weird. We played first game of the year, we played Michigan. Right. Like we did Indiana, and then we played Indiana.
We lose. It's like losing to Va Tech.
Yeah, that perception is way different. Yeah. They were the same results. I mean, because same results. Say Michigan goes undefeated, and then they win the Big Ten, or they play Iowa. I think it does get looked at different. If Bama's lost to Texas, when is that? That didn't matter. If Bama would have lost to Texas in week 9, 10, 11, I don't know, but that's kind of different because they made actually the conference championship game. I mean, that's a big part. That playing for your conference championship game and winning it makes a big difference, as we saw. I mean, they took conference champs.
Right.
That's not what they're supposed to do, though. It's not a tournament.
That's right. It's not.
Because they don't list like these are your qualifiers. You must have less one loss or less. You must win the conference championship. You're right. There's not that criteria that you have to hit, but year in and year out, and it's different people every year. But year in and year out, conference championships go deciding a long way.
Except for Florida State.
Their mandate is to get the best 4 teams in the country in a playoff, and now a lot of times that is conference champ, obviously, but sometimes it isn't, and.
Yeah. You can't get 5 conference champs into a 4-game playoff.
Which was my. I remember making this point from the first year they put it in place. They said we're gonna have a 4-team playoff. There's 5 Power 5 conferences, and I said, well, there's gonna be a train wreck every year because somebody's well
they got lucky most years. This is the year they did not, and they left out an undefeated conference champ.
Most years. All conference champs aren't worthy this year. And this is, like the chickens come home to roost in the final year of the 4-team where you have 5 different conference champions that are all viable. 4 of them undefeated.
Well,
going into the championship weekend. And
I think Georgia and Ohio State are viable. This is probably the toughest year that I can remember in the 4-team playoff. Sometimes there's a 5th team that you're like, oh man, should it be this team or that team? Maybe one other team. Yeah. But I feel like it could be, Ohio State's probably the outlier, but it sure as shit could be Georgia, and it sure as shit could be Florida State.
Yeah.
I would like to see, I'd like to see Oregon too. Oregon, you can't tell me Oregon.
I would
after
not
that
want
game,
a piece of them.
Oregon did not look like the 7th best team in the country. To be honest. After watching that game with Washington, I was thoroughly impressed with both of them. So you're right. I mean, you say Georgia, Ohio State. I'd throw Oregon in there. I think any of those 3 can play with any of the 4 that made it, hands down.
For sure.
So,
we're still trying to figure out why Oregon was a 10-point favorite. Explain that, please. Anybody.
The hype train was so heavy for Oregon.
It was like everybody wanted Oregon to be that way.
Yeah. Exactly, it was hype. That's why you guys know I'm not a Bo Nix guy, but anyway. So, we need to cover Georgia, Bama anymore? Carson Beck has the eyes of a goat. Not surprised they got left out. I am shocked.
I am.
You're shocked?
Yes.
You thought Georgia would be in and Bama?
I thought, yep.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I did think, I was surprised that
I thought it was going to go Michigan, Washington, Bama, Georgia.
Me too, honestly. But then I think that's what they wanted to do, and then they said, "Well, shit, man, Texas beat Bama. We can't put Bama in and not."
I know that put them in a tight spot.
I guarantee that has to be it. That has to be the hang up. They're like, well, fuck, we got to put Texas in, don't we? Do we? Don't we? They're looking at
but they lost to who'd they lose to?
Oklahoma.
That's right.
A respectable top 15 team, traditional top 15 team. Joe, I'm listen to what I'm saying.
TCU.
A big rivalry game, okay, with a traditional power, a regular top 15 team. Joe, that's about it. I mean, I'm not giving Oklahoma too much credit here. That's just what they are. Okay. It was a huge rivalry game. So I mean,
they came in number 12 in the rankings.
I don't know if all that factors in or not, but I'm saying that's their only loss, and it was a crazy ass ending to that game. You know what I mean? Like a 1 possession game, really really funky how that ended up. And then they beat the crown jewel, the number 8 team that went from 8 to 4, and should have been to 1, I guess almost. But they beat them, but it was early in the season. Texas beat them double digits in Tuscaloosa. So I think that's why they went to once. Well, now we got Bama in. Well, fuck, we have to put Texas in. Texas beat them,
Right.
and then it was like, well, who's going to call Georgia and tell them they're not in? Over, and we got to put Texas.
I know.
Not me. Not me. But yeah,
I
thought
just
that
don't
was.
understand how. Yeah. Georgia being the one-loss team, I would have thought there's only one-loss team that's like guaranteed to get in. I mean, they're back-to-back. They won 27 in a row.
Playing
whatever.
29, whatever.
Yeah, you can't give them previous credit. This is this season
they just went
only.
undefeated through the SEC and lost by 3 points to Bama.
Yeah. Who would you put? Who would you?
I
Who would you
still think
put
Georgia's
out?
a top 4
Who
team.
would you kick out?
I would put out Texas.
Georgia. Who?
One loss.
I'd put out Texas.
Okay. Wow. The team that beat the third team into the playoffs.
Like Jeff said, early in the year when they had the new quarterback, and he still doesn't even know what he's doing half the time. And so, yeah, you had an early defeat by them. I don't think it'd end up that same way right now with Bama, Texas.
So the games do matter or don't matter?
They do, but I mean,
because they played head to head.
But just like what we said, not all games at the time they're played matter equally. And if a team's peaking and doing something, that's why they didn't want to put Florida State in. They if their quarterback wouldn't hurt, they would have loved to put Florida State in there, but they just couldn't, and they didn't want to because they're not a peaking team. They're a team that's jumped off the cliff, and they know they're going to get railed in the playoff. And that they even put them fifth was just kind of like doing them a favor, because I think they would have taken Georgia ahead of them, Ohio State ahead of them. They didn't want Florida State in there.
Not with the third string quarterback. And to all the Florida State fans who would be thinking, well, I mean, we've seen a third string quarterback would lead to a national title, but what a third string quarterback did for us in 2014 was beat a top 5 team in the country 59-0.
Right.
To make it. That's the only way we were going. That's the only way we were.
That as the reason to put in anybody.
Well, I mean that's Florida State's fan base. Trust me, I have a couple of them here in the family.
I'd be so pissed.
Their thoughts on that were
there is a legit point that third string quarterback is not going to be their quarterback in 4 weeks, right? I mean,
yes.
At least the second string will at least be the quarterback if the first Travis is not ready to go. At least they'll be up to their second string, not a true freshman. So it's unfair for them if the committee is using that as a reason to put FSU at 5. That's bullshit, because you're assuming a lot, and you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah,
that's why to me, this is the worst year for this 4 team.
It is by far, because I remember. Yes, I said earlier in the year, right now, this was maybe week 8, week 9, where it was kind of things were starting to progress, and you started to see the teams elevate to the top. But I was like, man, I think there was 8 teams in the country that could have played each other for the title. I think there was 8 teams that were worthy of winning a national title this year, as opposed to most years it's maybe 3, and then there's a 4th team that deserves it, or there's 4, and then there's a, like you said, Shawn, like there's maybe a 5th team that is it these guys or these guys for the 4th spot. And in most years it's usually only 2 or 3 schools. You're like, regardless, nobody has a shot except these handful of teams. This year there were, I think there are 8 teams that could have beat any of the other 8 on any given Saturday.
Okay, I got a question for the chat, because I want to get you guys involved. I see you guys in there. I see full-blooded Buckeye, Odysseus, Doug, Ray, everybody. Pam, thank you, Pam. Pam. See you guys. I got a question for you. Quick one. I should have put it in there right off the bat, but
that's what she said.
Yeah. Thank you, Shawn. Good looking out. Actually had that incident today. Anyway. Where's my wife? So please take her. Anyways, the question was, do you open the quarterback competition for this bowl game? Do you open it up right now? It's a yes or no question. Yes or no. I don't want to hear ifs, ands, buts, candies, and nuts. Yes or no. Do you? Oh, I got somebody to block already. Oh, I missed it. Damn it. Could have blocked him a long time ago. Anyway, good catch. Thanks, Joe. So, question, yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, why, and whatever's easiest for you. Do you open this Ohio State Buckeye quarterback competition for the bowl game? So you got almost 4 weeks, a little less, 3.5, to the bowl game. Do you open it up, see what you got from the rest of the two guys you have?
Is Devin Brown healthy?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
Is he fine?
Yeah. He's fine.
I frankly would open it up just to those two. We've seen what Kyle can do. It's an exhibition game. I could care less if we win this game.
So this is my question to the chat.
Oh,
to the chat.
Sorry,
because we got more games to talk about here. I wonder if that's Alex Smith from Tiffin. Alex Smith, are you from Tiffin? Anyway, so yes or no, do you open the quarterback competition? Ryan Day today in his press conference after the announcement of the bowl game, the Cotton Bowl. Obviously, the Buckeyes are going to the Cotton Bowl, BFD, playing Missouri. So Ryan Day was very non-committal to his starting quarterback, and feel like this is very up in the air. It's like maybe all avenues are open at quarterback. So I want your guys' opinion, please. Yes, no, open up the competition. No. If you say no, then you're saying Kyle is your starter for the bowl game. Again, got 3.5 weeks. Let's call it 3 weeks of competition with 1 week of game prep. That's how I look at it.
No, aren't they limited to like 10 or 12 practices? I mean, they're not going to be competing every day. Like, there's only a limited amount of bowl practices you get.
I thought,
Dude,
I thought the number was
like
4.
full-time practices. What are you talking about?
I thought the number was an extra 14 practices allowed. I thought there is
pads or on field, but the hours are not like super limited to less than a normal season. Let's just we don't need to drill into the NCAA regulations right now. Alex Smith is from Massillon, so all right, Alex.
Tigers, state champs. Nice job.
There you go. Yeah, good job, Massillon. Glenville also won. I believe that was Division IV. I would like to point out my Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes made it into the round of 8. What do they call it? The 3 rounds from the championship.
The quarterfinals?
No, that's only 4 teams. The one before that.
Semis.
You into the semis?
Semis is 4 teams. Semis is 4 teams.
Say it, Joe. I was just going to say it.
You played your way into the semis.
It's math, guys.
All right, Quintana.
It's just math. Hard.
Yeah, all right. Let's call it the round of 8. The one before the 4. Anyway, so I'll call it our just to include you guys and make you feel good. Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes in the what seems to be half a season of playoffs made it deeper than they ever have since
They
I've been alive.
they ran into that Toledo Central Catholic that my boys team played
Champs.
also.
Champs,
Yep.
right? Yep.
Yep.
Toledo
15 and
Central
0 or 16 and 0. Hopefully those kids are gone.
And I heard that they might, and I heard that Central Catholic team might be the actual best team in the state.
They might be. That's saying that just Masson's good too.
Well, St. Ed's won against Springfield, but 419 on 419 crime is a sad thing to watch. But anyways, any other thoughts on high school football? Glenville is actually Division 4.
Columbian's team
do
was
you
nice.
believe that Columbia's Division 3, Glenville's Division 4? Learned that this weekend too. Did not know
that. And in the 90s, when I was there, we were Division 2. All the Toledo schools were Division 1 still. Glenville was Division 2.
Right.
So it just how things have changed over in the past 25 years, and that's in the state of Ohio. Population, I guess, has decreased.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get back to the footballs. Is there a game you guys want to touch on? Like, we don't need to talk about Michigan, Iowa, right? There's no reason.
I didn't watch it, but I have a question. Did anybody? And the only thing I wanted to see was Pilati or whatever the guy's name is, the commissioner, hand the trophy to Harbaugh. Did that happen?
TD?
Was it awkward?
I hope so.
Petiti?
I haven't seen video of it, but yeah.
I got up and left I got up and left the establishment I was at prior to that happening, because it would have been interesting to watch, but I didn't.
You stayed to watch that game?
No, I was with Florida State people watching their game.
Oh, that was a struggle.
I wasn't enjoying myself on either front. But I was.
All right, you guys want to talk?
I thought it was going to be awkward, but then I didn't want, because I knew the grin that would have been on Harbaugh's face. I didn't care to see that.
He talked some shit.
I had to just get out of there.
Anyway, yeah, nobody cares about the trophy ceremony for the cheaters. Again, I need to reiterate it, and I will be keeping an eye out. I've really enjoyed getting the Michigan fans to pile in here and give their comments, but you know what gives me great joy is
kicking them out.
Your comments. It actually warms my heart, especially this time of year, where, you're trying to give back. And I like giving back. And by giving back, I mean telling you to fuck off. What else? Any other games we need to talk about, really? I mean, do we want to talk SMU and Tulane? No? Good. I don't want to either. Liberty, New Mexico State, good. No. So
just some of the other bowl selection, right? Some of it is fucking stupid. Ohio State's not in January 6th.
Yeah, okay. Liberty got that the non-Power 5 best team, highest rated team, which everybody thought SMU would have gotten it by beating Tulane, but it went to Liberty. So Liberty is playing in the Fiesta Bowl?
Jeff, that was not a serious question.
Okay, all right.
I don't care. I don't understand why we're not playing on January 1st, but apparently the Cotton Bowl has different ideas. So we're losing some dudes in the portal. I already got 3 out. I think I just saw a 5th and a 4th. Yeah, I got 5 Buckeyes already in the portal.
Oh, who?
Yeah. We got, I can go off the top of my head almost, I think. The most recent one I just saw like an hour ago was Ryan Turner, DB. Before that, like actually during Ryan Day's press conference, Evan Pryor jumped in the portal, running back.
While the press conference was happening, he did.
I believe so. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. That's a he's gone. If you're gonna do that while your coach has left the team, coach goes in to make the press conference and he's like, "Yeah, go ahead and drop my name in here right now."
Vic Cutler, the center.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate the help there, bud. Thanks. See you later.
Right.
Thanks for chipping in this year.
Now I'm trying to use my brain this hour. It's a terrible point of time. Who else? We didn't lose any receivers, which is shocking. Yeah, I mentioned that. I'm just scrolling.
Well, Joe, yet.
The Evan Pryor one's a little bit concerning to me, though. So is Dallin Hayden the only guy we got?
Well, you got 3 true freshmen coming in, and maybe it's a sign that Trey is coming back. Chip's definitely going to be back. He's got 1 more year. But
Chip does have a year? I thought Chip was done. I thought Chip
did too.
Did not.
No.
Wow.
He's a 2020 guy.
Okay.
He never redshirted, but that gives him the COVID year as well. So
okay.
24 would be his 5th year.
I did not think about the COVID year with him. I didn't know how many. I thought he already had 2 years. Okay, I got you. Maybe he only have 2 years at Arizona State, and then that makes it to have 4. Still okay.
Yeah.
So with Chip, I would be completely shocked if we ever see Trey in a Buckeye uniform again.
Really?
I would be. Yeah,
I would also.
Because I mean, if he's staying, he'll play in the bowl game. I don't think he's playing in a bowl game. I thought Trey's gone. I just assumed, and well, you said, Joe, like, wouldn't you assume what happens? But I thought that I just had a strong feeling that he was not going to be coming back, therefore not playing in the bowl game. I don't know how much of that. I mean, we don't know how close some of these guys are with others. Do you think he had a discussion with him and Evan and Trey had a discussion and he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna be sticking around. I'm coming back. You might want to go ahead and bounce."
That's a real thing. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm saying that's a signal, that Trey could be coming back. I mean, Trey missed 4 games this year? He missed a lot of games last year, honestly. He was never 100%, it seemed like.
No.
Yeah. Oh, Cam Martinez. Yeah, Cam Martinez also gone.
That was just a matter of time, wasn't it?
I didn't know he had any eligibility left. I feel like he's been there for a while.
Yeah. He's one of them COVID guys too, then, right?
Oh, they already got to be his fucking ass. Wow. He was a 2020, I believe. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I heard Sparty's looking for some people if he wants to get closer to home.
Really? Oh, Sparty. Yeah, Sparty.
I'm sure. So when do you think all this will start bleeding out as far as people that are, not playing in the game? I know they have till next week to announce whether their intentions of coming back or not.
No, the portal opens on Monday until January 3rd. So
I don't mean portal. I'm sorry. I mean like guys like Marvin Harrison, for those guys to announce whether their intention
to
is
declare
going pro.
for the draft.
Yes.
Hold on. What do you mean the portal opens? Like, are you telling me that someone could potentially change teams as like a graduate right now, go practice for this bowl game and play in a bowl game on a team they weren't on all year?
I can't tell you that. No, I can't tell you that.
No. But the portal's open, so I wonder if they could.
I think you have to finish your semester and then like there's got to be a nice long break here for most schools in December till their next semester starts or quarter or whatever.
You can't be allowed because
there,
if you
there
would,
has to be
after the first.
a space of
well,
time.
Saban would be calling up and saying, "Hey, Marv, you want to transfer for this little playoff run?" And then you go pro.
Yeah.
Before you go pro, you want to come win a national title.
Right.
You get another shot at Michigan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And $1 million.
So, by the way, I did jump on that
bag.
money line. I jumped on the money line, even money, Bama over Michigan. Took it. It started off at 2 points. Bama getting 2 points. Picture that. Picture that world where Bama's getting 2. Now it's down to 1.5. I went money line.
It'll be money line. That's a good call.
Even money.
But it is shocking to me that they put Michigan and Bama in the Rose Bowl. I thought for sure that was Washington, Michigan. I thought, they would just realign the 4 seeds however they wanted to put Texas, a Texas Bama rematch in the Sugar Bowl and a Washington Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
No,
I think that would have been
that way would have been sucky. I would have hated that. I think you got to go hardcore, balls to the wall. Michigan, prove yourself, cheaters. Beat Bama, I dare you. Don't think you can.
Where's that, at the Rose Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bama's going to the
kind
Rose
of a
Bowl.
neutral field, like the most neutral you could really be.
True,
especially for Bama.
How many times? I mean, we've battled it ourselves, but I mean, how many times do you're facing LSU or Alabama or Georgia in Atlanta or in New Orleans? It's like, hey man, it's like a fucking home game for all those teams down there. I'm surprised. I guess maybe by Bama being the 8 seed, winning and then going from 8 to 4, they couldn't take Bama 8 to 1. I guess you just you can only move them 4 spots. You couldn't justify moving them 7 spots up.
It does seem excessive over undefeated teams, after all.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter. They got in. They got slotted perfectly, in my opinion. Bama's peaking. Deal with it, cheaters. You probably regret not getting those signs the last couple of years when you could have. Where's poor Stallions?
And to think that they were probably more excited to play Washington, I'm not so sure you'd be more excited to play Washington right now either. Texas is going to have their fucking hands full. What's the over-under in that game? 84?
Oh, it's up there.
It's got.
I got it right here.
I mean, I'd be shocked if I didn't see somebody hitting 40 points in that game.
Bing bong. Texas, 64.5.
That seems low. I will take the over.
Texas favored by 4.5. So weird number.
Wow.
That Bama number still is pretty good. It's minus 102, which is basically even money. Over under is 46. So they're looking at this as being a defensive struggle. Got numbers out here for Iowa, Tennessee already. Nobody cares.
Ugh.
Memphis, Iowa State.
Iowa, Tennessee. Those words together just make me go, eh.
I know. No one's going to watch that game. Any game, you got to hate it when you're the bowl and you get Iowa.
Yeah. That's the best you got, huh? That's down here in Orlando. That's the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That doesn't make sense to get. Cheez-Its and citrus, that's a non-starter for me. Cheese and citrus, right? No. I'm out. And then it's in Orlando, fucking 3 strikes. Iowa State and Memphis already has numbers out here, 6.5 for Iowa State. That's about it right now.
What's that line going to be with us in Missouri? We're playing fucking Missouri. Against what our
Easily a
JV
touchdown.
squad probably.
It depends, I think that Ryan Day was playing coy today about the quarterback position. I think that's going to be probably a 7 to 10 pointer. It's in Dallas, so you're going to have probably more Buckeye fans, even though it's a closer drive for people from Missouri. Buckeye fans always are going to fill up a stadium, so it doesn't matter about that.
But I guarantee though that travel is going to be a lot lighter. It's not like when we played Sam Darnold and USC in the Cotton Bowl. It's not even going to be anywhere close to that type of following. Just because we know how this is all going to how it's going to dissolve. There's going to be a ton of most of our talent is not going to be playing, being expected. I guarantee you that the travel portion, the fan base is not going to travel nearly as much as in years past. I think I think there'll be a big dip. We'll probably still outpopulate the area more than Missouri's fans will, but it's going to be a lot less, I would imagine.
I would have rather seen the Buckeyes down here in Miami. Honestly, I think you would have had a better Buckeye turnout. And you get people coming down from obviously Ohio to just take a week-long vacation in South Beach. But then there's no beaches in Dallas. Dallas is going to be fucking cold in January.
Yeah.
It's not worth going to.
When I saw that Florida State was not getting in, when they announced the 4, I immediately thought, oh shit, we get to play Florida State in the Orange Bowl. That's what I thought it was going to be, because how it was stated that we're dead set, pretty much we're going to be locked into Louisville, in the Orange Bowl. That's that's all the talk was, this past week. Yeah. I thought, well, maybe we'll get Florida State then, because everybody assuming Florida State would win out and then go to the playoff. I would like to have had a Florida State Ohio State matchup. We haven't had that since the Sugar Bowl in 98, 99. That'd been nice.
Right. Well, my point about having the Buckeyes down in Miami is because I would have considered going. It would have been an affordable ticket. It's not even, you don't even have to go to South Beach, because the stadium's like fucking north of the city. You could basically stay in Fort Lauderdale and be closer to the stadium than South Beach. So I would just drive down for the day. It's like 3-4 hours. But anyways, Dallas is the turnout. We got some recruiting talking here. You guys heard about the latest with the recruiting?
Hit me.
Justin Scott flips to Miami, 5-star D tackle out of Chicago.
Oh yeah, I saw the banner with the bag of money in the corner of it. Pretty much.
Yeah.
What
do you think that was about?
I think
what do you think they mean by that?
I think to me, goodbye. I mean, are you kidding me? That is
this is the day. This is the day and time we're in.
That is so tacky and low rent.
And
go ahead and go, kid. Get paid,
exactly.
But to fucking flaunt it like that, what in the blows my mind.
Exactly. And why was that?
The trophies are the bigger travesty to me. The trophies that they've never seen, won, or even touched as a school. College football playoff trophies, things like that. That's the bigger issue. Anybody can get money. You can't get that fucking trophy just by putting it on your fucking graphic.
Well, no, but at the same time, like just now, like just this week, somebody finally came with an offer for him. I mean, like, bro, if because other teams were recruiting him this whole time, why just now somebody finally stepped up and said, "Hey, we're gonna make the offer here. Here's 2.5 million or whatever the number is, whatever it is." But I don't understand how just now he decided to take the bag of money I can't imagine that Miami just now offered that money to him
No,
or to
I
any
think it's
recruits that they're
been,
trying to buy.
I think with all these recruits, especially South Florida teams and any kids down there, even though I know Justin Scott's from Chicago, but when a South Florida team like Miami's involved, it's going to be a nonstop negotiation, basically between all the other NILs with, let's say, Ohio State and Miami. So the kids represent, a lot of these kids now have representatives that are doing all the go-between work. The kids themselves are not asking Miami for money because that's technically illegal. Like if we're going to live by any type of rule system or laws, I know this.
I mean, are they though? Is anybody really? Are they do? Is
well, no,
anybody?
because then everybody will be getting in trouble.
Michigan's in the playoff. Yeah, there's no rules or laws.
There you go. But even when it comes to NIL, so I think it's a nonstop negotiation. Justin Scott's people are going to Miami saying, okay, Ohio State can promise us this much, 1.2 mil. What do you have? And they're like, all right, we can go 1.3. Okay. And then they go back to the Ohio State collectives. Can you beat 1.3? It's like an auction system, really. And the kids seemingly don't care where they play. That's my gathering. I know Jason Taylor is the D-line coach. Yeah, former Akron guy. Jason Taylor but this is like his first or second year as a D-line coach in college. Does he know what he's doing? You're assuming a lot
before that.
Yeah. Okay. But you're assuming a lot just because he played in the NFL that he can get you to the NFL. You're assuming a lot that he's going to put in the time, effort, because the guy's a multimillionaire. Maybe he doesn't feel like he needs to put in the time as a coach. Just my thoughts.
No, but these guys, like you said, Joe, these guys are thinking, hey, in the next 3 to 4 years, I'm gonna have multiple millions of dollars myself. So is the NFL really the end goal? No, it's 18-year-old kids. You tell them, oh, I can make $4 million while I'm going to school, and I get to go to school in Miami. I mean, it's the tunnel vision thought of general 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It seems it's complete free agency. It's like it's complete, NFL and professional sport free agency. Yeah.
What happens when your team again goes 6-6, 7-5? Is that what you care about, or do you not care at all? Like,
because they can jump in a portal and get paid millions from someone else. I mean, they can.
Right.
They figure well, if we end up being shitty, I'll just jump in the portal and we'll just do this all over again and see how much money maybe if I get a chance to ball out, I'll be able to renegotiate for a higher price in a year or two. See Texas A&M's recruiting class from a couple years ago.
Yeah. Shawn, what do you think about the development? Let me ask Shawn about the
program and build it. They got
right. But I want to ask Shawn about the development that's happening in that year when they're sitting at a Miami, maybe not getting the best coaching like they could from a Larry Johnson or somebody of that level at a different school. Shawn, don't you think that that's kind of hurting them? Isn't that stunning their growth to some degree?
Well, what you were saying about, if Ohio State's at 1.2, I mean, if all of the things are equal, then yeah, you go to the place that's got the proven track record to put you in to the pros. I would think that's when you said 1.3. I mean, I think you're starting to make dumb decisions, but you are a kid, 18-year-old kid, but that you already got paid the 1.2. That extra $100,000 isn't going to move much for you. And if you do run the risk of playing for one, a team that's irrelevant, and two, a team that won't develop you, I don't know. But then at the end of the season, like Jeff said, it's free agency. Transfer somewhere else. Someone else pay you.
Right, but maybe an Ohio State is no longer interested in you because you did not develop, and they can see that on tape. Like if they can get your practice tape or your game tape, and you played like 10 snaps in a year, it's like, okay, great, you played 10 snaps. You look like shit. I don't want you, right? I mean, at some point, isn't it kind of a I don't know, you're hurting yourself, right?
Sure, Joe, but they're not looking at, these kids aren't looking at that though. None of these kids are really.
I see it. Yeah, they see it.
I mean, they're not getting fed that information that says, hey, if you don't show development, you might not have this market. They're probably not getting informed. A lot of this probably goes back to, they're getting informed by people that are just trying to they're trying to catch a commission off of off some deal. You get your 3% or whatever an agent gets, or you know what I mean. So that's just the way the system is set up right now. So you got to just pass on those kids, and you got to hope you just get the kids in that have a little better. They're being informed and mentored a little bit more accurately as to how the real world is, and not just this dreamscape of millions of dollars, and if it doesn't work out, go get millions of dollars somewhere else, and then if you don't make the NFL, then you're going to be 22 years old and have millions of dollars.
Yeah, but you will have probably burned through that quickly because you have poor money management skills. Hey, folks, please hit the like button. By the way, we've been in here for over an hour. We got 6 likes on 100 viewers. Would be nice to help the.
Why is that? I don't understand that. Like if
it's a lack of GSF. That's what I call it. I think about some of these kids that are flipping. We got Pam in the chat pointed out Jordan Lyle out of STA down in South Florida is getting courted heavily by Miami. Chance Robinson, his teammate, just committed there, and it's like, we went through the same shit last year with Mark Fletcher doing the old flips to do. But my point is, okay, what do you expect by going to Miami other than money? Because they're bad. Like they're not showing signs of getting better. I mean, other than flipping some recruits, but again, what's his name? John Ruiz, the big billionaire donor there that's done all these deals, seems to be out of money. So what do you expect? You think you're going to get $1 million a year in your college career there? I would be shocked.
I mean, it's easier for Miami to get relevant again than most other teams. I mean, the ACC is weak as fuck.
True.
Yeah. I can't argue with you there.
You start pulling in Ohio State, Georgia, Bama type classes at the U, you will dominate that.
Yeah, they have the potential to get in good quick, but I mean, they have there's no development of their players. Their quarterback, Van Dyke, he's in the portal. Just like a lot of quarterbacks are, but yeah, they don't have the coaching, they don't have the player development that the programs do. But these kids are getting shown the money, and they're looking past the other stuff that recruiting used to go into. you know, player development, coaching staffs, relationships. They're just the money is king right now. Cash is king. So there, this way it's going to work. And until all schools are playing by those same rules, like we've talked before, we're not going to get into a bidding war with the team. I mean, that's probably why Justin Scott, I'm sure his people probably said to Ohio State, "Hey, we got an offer of this down here," and Ohio State's like, "No, when you get here, then we have some stuff in place for you, but we're not just getting into a bidding war with you." And then he's like, "Well, then my guy's going somewhere else." No, then see you later. So it's just that's the way it's going to be until us and whoever else that doesn't play by those rules decides to play by those rules. Right. This will happen. This is going to keep on happening until there's kind of a correction on the people. Eventually, these people will get tired of spending the money on kids that aren't producing for the revenue that they're being paid. You know what I'm saying? And until that market correction happens, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lose 5 stars 2 weeks before early signing period to a team that's very, very subpar in relation to us, but they have a few things going for them. They have a warm weather climate, and there's money that's being promised, and we're not promising money to people. So now whether these guys get that money and what those contracts and all that stuff looks like, we don't know. I mean, we've kind of seen a little bit of that unraveling so far. It'll just take more of that until finally there's nationwide intercollegiate rules set forth that guidelines that are enforced and followed. Yeah. And that's not happening for now. So we're going to continue to lose kids like this. This won't be the last year we lose a 5-star 2 weeks before signing period.
Right. Yeah. Until there's some serious regulations that blanket the entire college football world, this is not going to change because most of the issue is these are state by state regulations, and people want to bitch and moan about, oh, this guy got like Missouri, for example, is a perfect.
I'm just gonna say, yep.
Yeah, they can get all of their NIL money up front first. They don't even have to go fucking do anything. So that's an example of a state where you can just get paid for nothing.
And in high school, you can start earning NIL money in high school.
Yeah,
in Missouri,
and that's why Quinn Ewers left Texas. Came and faked it. He faked it at Ohio State for a few months because Ohio allowed him to get paid at his age. Staying at his high school in Texas did not allow him to get the kombucha money. So
and that's it. I mean, and it's almost been
kombucha flowed north.
I mean, it's almost been. It's like it's not even really like a unkept secret. Like it was almost like it was just a complete business arrangement, and like our coaches probably feel like idiots for being duped almost.
I know they were aware. I don't think they're that stupid.
But I mean, were they? Why were you even willing to take him for a year then, knowing he wasn't going to play that year? Take him a year earlier than you thought you were going to get him. Why would you even were they like almost hand tied to take him when they did? Because they didn't want him to reclassify and come a year earlier than he did. I mean, I don't know why you would even knowing you're just getting used and you're not going to get.
He knew he was going to have another year behind Stroud, I think, is why he left.
Well, he would have come in as same class as Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wanted to start as a second year.
But this is never a real consideration. He was a longtime Texas kid. This was not a real I'll go play at Ohio State. No. This is straight cash, homie. He got $1 million from the kombucha company because he could. He just had to be outside of Texas. He could not stay at his high school.
So the family said, "All right, well, let's make
He
sure let's finish up high school real
reclassified.
quick."
Yes.
I'd like to see the investigation into that too. Like, and not an investigation, but how did that? I mean, he really just all of a sudden, this wasn't something you planned. Like a lot of kids, like maybe Sonny Styles and them, they like the plan is, you can start your high school career and to finish in 3 instead of 4 years. It seemed like his was just, hey, we got a chance to get $1 million. All right, well, he's done here. Administrators, parents, everybody, we're just finish him up here. He's good to graduate. Did all his requirements. We say he did, and then he can go. It seemed like it was like just a strictly a business transaction that was kind of thrown together. There was never a plan, obviously, because if it was a plan, High State was not a part of it at all. It just, that's.
It was strictly a cash grab. It was never ever a long-term plan, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Day was well aware why he came to Ohio State. The kid was like, he was going home like during the season. He was taking flights home. He was not staying there. This is like common knowledge. He was not in it for being a Buckeye ever. I honestly think when Ryan Day made him go out there and take a couple snaps and hand off during a game, it was almost like a fuck you, kid. You're going to wear this Buckeye jersey. See how it fits you.
And with any luck, you fucking blow your Achilles out.
I know what you're thinking. I know what your family's thinking. You go out here, suck it up, and you hand it off 3 times to finish the game. No, we're not going to let you have the victory formation.
Yeah.
Because we could have. But anyways,
that's something it'd be nice to hear all that whole story like 10 years, 20 years from now. It'd be nice to hear, how people's true, like Ryan Day, to talk about it, when he's later in his career and, whatever. It'd be nice to hear all the actual details
people
of what he
talk
knows
about that shit. Yeah. But anyway, we got plenty of time to break down Ohio State, Missouri. Let's not get our panties in a bunch. So people in chat clamoring about fucking Missouri already. All right, relax.
we said the main reason why Missouri has emerged as quickly as they have. I think it's directly related to the NIL deals that the state has, the state laws have permitted. Missouri, yeah. I mean, they started getting better kids because they kept a lot of those Missouri kids in state this year, in these last couple of years, because they were able to start paying these kids who in high school. If a team starts paying you while you're a senior in high school, you're more than likely going to be you're more likely to be committing to them once you leave high school because they've already been paying you.
If I can reclassify and go make $1 million, what do you think I'm going to do? Very simple.
Yeah. So, you see now, Missouri's all of a sudden now they're fucking New Year's Six team. They, prior to NIL, they didn't have this in their future. Nobody said anything around the country that knows college football was talking about, oh, Missouri, they're building a winner down there.
Right.
And keep an eye on Missouri these next couple of years. No, nobody's saying that. But those rules change, and you can almost overnight, within a 9-month period, you can completely turn the outlook of your program around completely. You start paying, you come across some money, people start paying kids, and then boom, holy shit! Now they got all the best talent out of St. Louis and all these other areas. Now they're all staying they're staying in Missouri. What do you know?
Yeah. Again, we'll see what happens long term. I'm not too concerned about Missouri suddenly becoming a national power. All due respect. And you know what? When you say all due respect, that means
somebody's about to get disrespected. Right. But I mean, but it's just the way it is. I mean, we're gonna keep losing some a recruit, here and there. to these issues. Just like some teams will emerge, we're never going to fall off, but at the same time, we're going to lose guys every year. Mark Fletcher, Justin Smith, just a couple. We're going to end up losing these kids.
And we're
one
going
or
to flip
two
our
per
share
class.
as well. Let's not forget that.
But I mean, are we?
It's flipping season. Yeah, it is flipping season. We got a few in the tank, so we'll see what happens over here over the next couple of weeks. But we'll get into that soon. So, announcement. This is a programming announcement for everybody. I'm going to be taking the entire week off, and then me, Jeff, and Shawn are going to be off next Sunday, and we need to kind of, from my point of view anyways, recharge our batteries, just get back to taking care of business. And the holidays are coming up, so Shawn has to go buy his wife some gifts, probably his kids too, so I want to give him plenty of time to work on that. And same for you, Jeff. You got to get the girls something nice for their puppies. So we're going to go ahead and take like basically the next week off. Jeff and Shawn, we haven't talked about this before now, but hopefully you don't have a problem with that.
No, I
say okay with me.
Got a million things going on, brother. Got a million things going on, so I can. The more time I have, the better, probably.
We got a bowl game in 4 weeks. Obviously, we'll get prepped up the week prior, but I'll be back doing the daily shit in a week. We're going to talk about all the usual stuff, get caught up on recruiting, portal crap. Signing day isn't until December 20th. So that's 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks away. So we'll be back. We just need to take a 1 week hiatus and get shit together. And that's it. So please stay tuned. If you're subscribed, you don't have to be concerned. You might want to hit the notifications button so you know when we're coming back and going live and all our shows are popping up. So I will be posting on the community, the YouTube community. So check it out there. Also, the Twitter machine. Check out X. I'm trying to sound cool, so I'm on X, right? Yeah, I'm on X, man. Touching myself because I'm on X. Anyway, this is so fucking stupid. Anything else, Jeff? Shawn?
No, just
all right.
Still disappointed.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this is not the way we wanted to end the season, having to get closed out of the playoffs and not even being in the top 6 where we have something to complain about. We're usually in a complaining mode, but not this year. So tells you maybe where our expectations are headed. Maybe the expectations for next year are going to be a little higher, right? I mean, let's go fix some shit, Ryan Day. Let's work on this quarterback situation, O-line. We're going to be bringing in a ton of people on the portal. Hopefully the Buckeyes are going to continue to be aggressive. This has to be a better offensive line class in the portal that we need to take advantage of. So that's just one position without getting into the rest. So
what's one thing that recruits still care about outside of money? Playing time.
Oh,
I mean, outside of that though, I mean, getting, when am I going to get to play? Where in years past people thought about Ohio State. Well, don't go to Ohio State. You're going to be stuck behind 3 All-Americans and you're not going to play to your junior year. Not so much anymore. The offensive line recruits. Justin Fry gets out there and said, "Look, you're gonna get a chance to battle for a spot. If you're here in the winter, you're gonna come spring ball. You got a chance to compete for a spot as a freshman."
Oh yeah,
I think everything.
The first year guys like Luke Montgomery have a shot at playing time this coming year. This is their second year.
I expect Lou Montgomery to be a starting offensive lineman next year. If he's not,
Yeah.
holy shit! Now I feel alarmed. But there's
Yeah.
I think our program in general is there's a major overhaul. I think that's about to happen.
Yeah.
Major. There needs to be major sweeping changes.
Justin
And
Fry's
playing
coming
time.
back. He's not going to Indiana, so no concern about staff turnover there. Sounds
And I
like
thought he
Jim
would too.
Knowles will probably be back as DC as of right now. Don't quote me, but that's what I'm hearing.
Is the Duke
So we're not
job taken?
hearing a lot of staff turnover from a coaching point of view, and we need that stability on the O-line and the defense most of all.
Yes.
So, all right.
Well,
so
Fry better do something next year, or he can move on to Indy.
Well, we got Jordan Seaton still on campus right now, 5-star. He's on campus right now till Monday. That's the guy. That's the guy. If you want to ever appreciate Justin Fry, if he lands Jordan Seaton, that's a huge win for him. So, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Appreciate everybody. We'll be back in a week. And Jeff, Shawn, I'm sure I'll be talking to you at some point. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. See you.
All right, man. See you in a few.
Go Bucks.
Peace.